Well, welcome back everybody for the final time this weekend to Brands Hatch for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. The Euro NASCAR 2 division cars are poking their noses out of their garages, ready to take to the track very shortly for what will be their final race of the weekend, a further 30-lap race around this Brands Hatch Indy circuit. You might have tuned in over the weekend, but if you're just tuning in for the first time, let's bring up the circuit map and just guide you around a lap of this 1.2 mile. It's just under 2 kilometres, the track, and whilst it looks fairly simple, track graphics should be coming up in a moment, it is not the easiest track in which to master. It's been the home of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series since 2018, so just 5-6 key turns really, but turn 1 is Paddock Hill Bend, where it really drops away after the apex. You climb uphill into turn 2, back downhill into turn number 3, and then turns 4 and 5, fast sweeping turn 4, trying to get the car braked and turned in ready for turn 5 as well, and make sure you get a good launch off turn 6 onto the start finish line. So it looks an easy track, it's not. It's also quite narrow, and therefore overtaking is at a premium as well. So we've had a great weekend of racing already. What maybe we should do is look back at some of the highlights from yesterday's race. So a win in yesterday's Euro NASCAR Pro Race for Alan Day. That was backed up with a win today in the Euro NASCAR Pro Race by Loris Hazemans. And in Euro NASCAR 2, Advait Deodhar went to victory lane, the only Indian to have won a NASCAR race, and it was his first career win, so he'll be absolutely delighted with that one. Nice that we've got fans back as well to enjoy American Speedfest here at Brands Hatch. We saw the highlights from yesterday's race, but what has that done to the championship points, I hear you ask? Well, Martin Dubeck was leading the championship coming into this weekend, he was on 80 championship points. He is now on 111 championship points, but rather than have an 11-point lead, that's been whittled down to just 7 points now between himself and Tobias Deodhar, who's now moved up into second place. And down to third goes Vladimir Izchoitsis, the Cypriot, who joined me in the commentary box earlier on, but he had a poor race yesterday. The leading rookie is in sixth place, the Italian Alberto Panebianco. The leading legend driver we've got, those that are aged over 40 that are in this series, is Yevgen Sokolovsky, the Ukrainian. The leading lady for the Lady Trophy is down in 15th position, which is Ariana Casali. So that gives you the current championship standings following yesterday's race. So the cars have made it onto the grid, but I've managed to scoop myself up another guest commentator to come and join me in the commentary box. We saw him out racing in Euro NASCAR Pro. It's great to see him back in the championship as well at his home NASCAR Grand Prix. It's Alex Sedgwick.
Hello, happy to be here.
Happy to be, well, with me, hopefully, but happy to be out there on track, more importantly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to be back in the Euro Series. I think I worked out earlier, it's 21 months or something since I last drove a Euro Series car. So cool to be back at Brands Hatch, cool to be back in the series, and yeah, had a great weekend.
It wasn't without its troubles. You had engine woes yesterday and retired, unfortunately. You were saying the car had dropped down onto 7 cylinders, but thankfully it was an easy fix rather than an engine out fix.
Yeah, that's right. I think just a heat shield disappeared or moved, and that meant that we melted a plug wire and obviously lost a cylinder. So unfortunate. One of those things, really. But yeah, we made up for it today with a better run.
You're with a new team for this weekend. We've previously seen you out with Brax Racing, but you're with Academy / Alex Caffey Motorsport for this weekend, and that fantastic NBA 2K backing that you've got. Yeah,
absolutely. It looks cool, doesn't it? It's a great partnership. Really happy to have NBA 2K on the car with Belfour, Wiley X, Go Beyond Energy as well. Yeah, cool livery, stands out as well. So did my suit, and yeah, happy today to get them on the podium.
I know that you're quite a techie person. You do a lot of online gaming and stuff, but yeah, NBA 2K, it's the official basketball game, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, official game of NBA, the National Basketball Association. So yeah, really cool to have them on the car. Obviously, kind of crossing sports with NASCAR as well. Unfortunately, I'm not quite so good at the game or real basketball as I am at driving, but we'll gloss over that.
A slight height disadvantage when it comes to basketball, Mr. Sedgwick.
Just a tiny bit, yeah.
And that's, that hopefully is a relationship that you're going to be building on as well, that will see you hopefully do some more racing here in Europe, but potentially some more stuff over in America, because you did the Daytona ARCA test.
Yeah, definitely. The relationship started with the ARCA Daytona test at the start of this year, and the plans to do more, going forward, hopefully some road course and oval stuff in the US in ARCA and NASCAR Xfinity is the plan.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
That would be very good. Big smile on his face as he says it. We can see the cars are lined up there on the grid. I gather we have a very special Grand Marshal that will be uttering those words as and when we get to the point that the engines will be fired into life. At Euro NASCAR 2, you look at Advait Deodhar, very, very likeable young man who sits there and claimed his first win yesterday. You must be really chuffed for him as well, Advait.
Yeah, it's so cool to see Advait get a win. Obviously, he's been working super hard, been around the series for a few years now, and yeah, he earned it yesterday for sure, leading the whole race, and a bit of pressure, but dealt with it well, and we'll see if he can do the same today.
Whereas I think we can head downstairs onto the grid, because I think Hadrian has a driver that we can chat to.
Hello Tobias, what's your expectation here for the last race here in Brands Hatch?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the race. Hopefully I can find in this race a way to pass Advait. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I have a good feeling in the car, and hopefully we can show a good pace and a good race for all the fans here at Brands Hatch.
How was your weekend here in Brands Hatch? Do you like it? Do you like the public, the atmosphere?
Yeah, it's a really nice track. It's a bit like a roller coaster, so yeah, a great fun to drive, and yeah, I'm happy to drive the race now.
Thank you and good luck for the race.
There we go. Good to hear from Tobias Deodhar, driver who lies second in the championship standings. He is just 7 points off the championship lead, and Tobias Valencia had had a second and a third place. It was another second place for him yesterday, and that's what you need in this championship, Alex. Is you need to be able to stay consistent. We'll pick up some more with Alex in a moment, because I think we're going to hand back downstairs for another interview.
Let's go.
Hello Advait, after your first victory yesterday, what's your expectation for the day of today? It can be a grateful weekend if you win today.
Thank you. Yeah, the car felt good yesterday and I hope we can carry the same momentum for today. I want to win again, so I'm going to put my head down and give it everything I've got to try and win this race.
Thank you Advait and good luck for your race.
Yeah, great to hear from Advait there. Not surprised he's going to get his head down, which is what he did yesterday to scoop up that win. So the drivers have started their engines, didn't quite get there in time for that one. The Grand Marshal was Chewbacca, by the way, who I'm not sure he actually would have said the words "drivers, start your engines." But we're talking about consistency, Alex. You'll know, this is a series where you have to remain consistent. Tobias Dauenhauer now 2 second places and a third place. Good, solid start to the season.
Yeah, 100%. It's so important to bank those points and keep consistent throughout the whole season. My track record in the Euro Series is the perfect example of what not to do with that. But
I wasn't going to say that.
It's super important, especially when you're fighting for a championship like these guys are.
There is Chewbacca. There he is. Our Grand Marshal, having just asked the drivers to start their engines. Fantastic stuff. We've had a lot of the characters from Star Wars wandering around the venue over the course of the weekend. Euro NASCAR 2 is that developing ground where drivers work their way up into Euro NASCAR Pro. It's very, very strong. Let's just guide you through the grid as they head up on the first of 2 formation laps. Number 56, Advait Deodhar, starts from pole position at the wheel of his Ford, and alongside is another Ford. It is number 50, Tobias Dauenhauer. Row 2 of the grid, it's the young Belgium, 66, Simon Palat, alongside the young Italian, number 17, Francisco Caristo. The third row of the grid, the Israeli driver, Advait Deodhar, alongside the Czech driver, who leads the championship still, but has had a troubled weekend so far, but that's the car that went to victory lane in the Euro NASCAR Pro race earlier on. It's number 7, Martin Dubek. Row 4 of the grid, number 1, Vladimiros Choitzis, another driver that has not had the best of fortune so far this weekend, alongside 77, local driver, only from just down the road from Brands Hatch, it's Sean Hollenby. The 5th row of the grid is number 22, the German driver Justin Kuntz, lines up alongside the leading rookie that we've got on the grid, which is number 89, Alberto Panebianco. Row 6 of the grid, car number 27, returning to the championship this season, it's Pierluigi Veronesi, alongside number 88, Max Lancer, with row 7 being 48, Yevgen Sokolovsky, and 69, Michael Bleaky Molan. The 8th row of the grid, it's the Finnish driver, number 44, for DF1 Racing, Ian-Eric Varden, alongside the Greek driver, number 2, Tom Krasinas, who returns to the series. And row 9 of the grid, it's another Finn, it's number 23, Levi Lintekantu, who non-finished in yesterday's race, sitting alongside number 12, Alina Leubnegger, who had an off in free practice this morning, but they've had plenty of time to repair the car. Row 10 of the grid is the Portuguese driver, number 46, Miguel Gomez, alongside 64, the returning German, Matthias Hauer, and the back row of the grid is number 54, which is Ariana Casoli. So you look through the grid, Alex, and any of those drivers on the first 5 rows are more, if not further back, are more than capable of winning this.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Martin Dubek had a great showing at Valencia, so it'll be interesting to see how far he can get through. Also, to see what Sean can do. Obviously, a bit unlucky yesterday, but really good speed. So I think at his home race, he'll be trying to fight through and get a good result.
And that's a late deal for Sean Hollenby to come in on the number 77 car, the purple and pink car that's just heading towards our screen there. Very late deal, no seat time, hasn't been in a car for even longer than you. Comes in and thankfully is teamed up with Mark Goosens, who is a very open and a very accommodating driver who's worked with Sean to get him up to speed quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I was teammates with Mark at Brax, and yeah, he'd have been super helpful to Sean to get him up to speed and teach him all of his little tricks. So you can see it's paying off with his starting position here.
Yeah, bear in mind the starting positions for this race are based on their fastest lap times from yesterday. So it's a good lap time put in by Sean Hollenby, which makes him 8th on the grid. But the fastest lap of all, of course, went the way of the pole sitter for this race, Advait Deodhar. Now, Advait's car is the yellow and the black car that is sitting there on the left of your screens as you see it when we look at the start-finish line and the camera that's positioned there. It's black and red for Tobias Dauenhauer. So, buckle up everybody, for the final time this weekend we're about to go green with the 4th round of the 2021 NASCAR Wheeling Euro Series Euro NASCAR 2 division. Advait Deodhar and Tobias Dauenhauer on the front row of the grid. The lights go out and they charge their way up towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time, but it's going to be Tobias Dauenhauer that's got the jump over Advait Deodhar, who's down into 2nd place. Simon Palat there in 3rd, running side by side with Francesco Garisto by the look of things as they all fan out from being nose to tail to being 2 and if not 3 wide as they head up towards Druids. But a good start from Tobias Downhauer.
Yeah, great start. Not sure what happened with Advait, if he missed a shift maybe, but really good jump from the outside, and to be able to clear him to block into panic as well.
A bit of a bump there between Francesco Garisto and Simon Palat, who got together. Advait Deodhar all over the place, heading in towards Surtees and McLaren. Maybe cold tyres still that aren't quite up to temperature, Alex?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we had a few drops of rain as well, so not sure if that's affecting anything. Sometimes, even if it's kind of mental rain, it can throw you off. So, yeah, just taking a couple laps to get up to speed, but I'm sure they'll all drop into line and figure it out now.
Martin Dubeck is up from 6th on the grid up to 5th. Sean Hollenby has gained 2 places. He's up from 8th up to 6th position at the moment, and is the leading legend driver that we've got in the field. That's for those that are over 40 that enter this particular category. So everybody's safely through the first lap, downhill in towards the braking area for Graham Hill Bend. The number 66 car of Simon Palat under pressure from the black and blue and Dago machine of the Czech driver Martin Dubeck, who, remember, leads the championship. But Tobias Downhauer already disappearing up the road.
Yeah, great job by him. Obviously, he's nailed it from the start. You saw Advait moving around a little bit, fighting with his car, whereas the 50 in front looks nice and stable and secure. So made the most of the first few laps, definitely.
I mean, some of that might be to do with setup as well, that they've set Advait's to come stronger on in a race, and Tobias's is maybe going to drop off. We just don't know.
Yeah, for sure. With these tyres as well, you can kind of pick and choose your pressures to exactly how you say when you want your car to be best. So you may see Advait having a bit of a charge later on and coming back at him.
There's the replay of that contact between Francesco Garisto and Simon Palat, but that was sort of wheel to wheel, and if there were going to be any punctures or anything, that would have happened by now. They are still nose to tail fighting away. Palat is in 4th position, Garisto in 5th, then it's the black and blue and day-glow car of Martin Dubeck. Sean Hollenby is very much in his shadow as well, and Advait Deodhar's not that far away either. Dubeck looking to try and get the overlap on Francesco Garisto, who only just got the door closed there.
Yeah, really good move. It's hard to get up the inside there, and even harder to carry the momentum, which is obviously where Dubeck fell back in line, but you can see he's looking racy already. And
the pink and white and green car at the back is Vladimir Choitzes, who joined me in the commentary box earlier on. He's looking to try and squeeze his way through and ahead of Advait Deodhar's car. At the moment, the Israeli is hanging on to it from the Cypriot, but they're all pretty much still nose to tail. We are already, unbelievably, on lap number 4. 3 laps already completed as they dive downhill towards Graham Hill Bend. Now, this time through, Francesco Garisto looking as though he's a little bit slower out of Graham Hill Bend, which allows Martin Dubeck to draw himself alongside, heading in towards turn number 4. But he's on the outside line for turn number 5. There's contact between the pair of them. Dubeck, the championship leader, gets turned around. Now he's going to have to hook the gear very quickly here. Hopefully there's no contact, get the car going, but all of that hard work has just come undone.
Yeah, for sure. It narrows up so much there, and just obviously unlucky to bounce off each other. But Sean Hollenby benefits from it, and he's up to 4th now, so good run for him.
He's doing a cracking job, isn't he, Sean Hollenby? They'll be really pleased with him back at the Old People's Home this evening when he heads back there. I do jest, by the way, Sean. Yeah, here's a quick replay of it. Yeah, just Garisto just into the rear quarter of the car of Martin Dubeck, and once you're almost on the edge of a decent round there anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. For Garisto on the outside, I tried to do that earlier on in Elite 1, and you just kind of run out of room as the track narrows up, and you see the results of it.
Fastest lap of the race, last time round, Advait Deodhar. Now, it may well be that Tobias Downhauer had scampered up the road a little bit to the tune of a second, but Advait's coming on strong now, so keep an eye towards that. Big slidey moment there for Justin Kuntz, who, with an armful of opposite lock, had to try and control the tail end of that number 22 Chevy there. That's the corner, I think, when you did your walk around the track and did that video for us on Friday. It's that corner you want to get off it cleanly, but as soon as you put the power down, if you're too quick with it, the tail end steps out.
Yeah, absolutely. You're on partial throttle for so long out there, and especially now in race 2, your tyres are screaming already. They've got plenty of laps on them, and it's that left side that goes the soonest and just makes it so hard to get drive off the corner.
And do you think that's what it was there? It was just a bit too keen?
I'd say so, yeah. Obviously, you're still trying to rotate the car as you drive out, and you've just got to be so patient with it. And especially when you're chasing someone trying to get a run, it's just so easy to be eager on the throttle and get a big slide.
Sean Holloway still in the purple car in 4th position, doing a really, really good job. He's got Advait Deodhar right behind him. Vladimir Choice is in the number 1 car, the Ford, sitting there in 6th position at the moment. That's a good little fight actually between those 3 drivers there. And for Sean Holloway, it's been a really good return to the series. I've got to say that I've been impressed with Sean this weekend. Even when things weren't going right for him in free practice on Friday, he was still quite philosophical about it. You know, he just wanted a little bit of seat time. If there's a problem with the car, let's sort it.
Yeah, for sure, and it shows the benefit of this format as well. That, you know, he had a bit of an unlucky race yesterday, but with having your fastest lap in the first race, sorting your grid position for this one, you're able to make up for it, and he's doing that now.
Doing a really good job, yeah. So Chevy from Ford as they head over the start and finish line. This is lap number 7 that's now being completed, so on to the 8th lap of the race. Advait Deodhar at the wheel of the largely white number 90 car is coming under pressure from Vladimir Choices, and if these two start to squabble, it might just allow Sean Holloway to break away a little bit more. Yeah, it certainly looks as though now Nave is not quite attacking Sean as much as he was doing a few laps earlier. It's more defensive work now, and it's amazing around a circuit like this at Brands Hatch. As soon as you start to defend rather than attack, you really do lose time, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. This track, you know, it's all about rhythm, because you've only got 4 or 5 corners. Everything has to be perfect. So as soon as you throw off that rhythm a little bit, whether it's a little look out your mirror or a defensive move, it takes a few corners to get back into the swing of things, and that's kind of where you're vulnerable for the car behind.
Now, Vladimir Choices hasn't got the run again this time on Advait Deodhar, so they'll still be in the same position as they head in towards the braking area for Paddock Hill Bend. Bounce off that inside curve, let the car run wide but not too wide on the exit, and then uphill into the uphill braking area for Druids. Amazing how late you can brake for that corner, isn't it? Because you're heading uphill, the car loses momentum a lot quicker.
Oh yeah, even in these heavy stock cars, it's super steep. If you've not been to Brands Hatch before, you don't realise just how steep it is. There's also quite a lot of banking, so you're not carrying a lot of speed by the time you turn in, but it really helps to get the car turned.
So Sean Holloway still doing a good job. Advait Deodhar is now back in attack mode again. Over the start-finish line comes our race leader Tobias Dauenhauer. That's now 9 laps completed by the German, who is almost out on his own really. So he's 2.6 seconds up the road from the yellow and black car in the hands of yesterday's race winner Advait Deodhar. So it's a Ford from a Ford. The leading Chevy is Simon Palat, who sits there, the young Belgium, in 3rd place at the moment. But for our driver who is looking to try and take over the championship lead, Tobias Dauenhauer, he is at the moment doing a very good job, and with the problems that have befallen the car of Martin Dubeck, he's still trying to work his way up through the order. He's down in 17th position at the moment, Martin Dubeck. That would net him 20 championship points, whereas Tobias Dauenhauer would pick up the 40. He would take over the lead of the championship, wouldn't he?
Yeah, make things interesting going into the next round, definitely.
Now, did I see a couple of places lost there for Michael Bleekie-Molan at the wheel of the number 69 car? We saw that car on the podium in the hands of his son earlier on. Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? He's not going to let them through like that unless he's got an issue with the car.
It looks very familiar.
So yeah, poor old Michael Bleekie-Molan, the oldest driver in the field, 71 years of age, and let's just have a quick look. Yeah, not a great deal of resistance put up. Any obvious ideas what that could be?
Yeah, nothing obvious. Maybe something gear related or motor related. If he's lost power or lost drive or lost a gear, it's stuck in the gear potentially. But yeah,
yeah, such a shame for Michael Bleekie-Molan. Huge amounts of experience. A couple of seasons in Formula 1 back with Ram and ATS in the 1970s, the mid-70s for Michael Bleekie-Molan, but still as competitive as ever, and hasn't slowed up much, despite the fact that he's 71 years of age, I think, nowadays. Here over the start-finish line comes Sean Holloway, who is still under pressure. He's lost out to Advait Deodhar, though, who has gone through. So this is Sean Holloway now in 5th position rather than 4th as he was earlier, and still coming under pressure from Vladimir Choices, who sits behind. Good race from Sean. He could let Choices go, he would still be in the top 6, he'd still be leading the Legend Trophy, which is what's important, but Sean is a very competitive racer. He will want to finish as high up as possible.
Oh, absolutely. He wants as many spots as he can, and it looks like maybe we were talking about pressures earlier. If he was set up to go hard at the start, and now he's starting to suffer a bit of past him, and if a few more cars catch him, he's still leading his class by quite a while at the moment.
Yeah, so I thought for a split second I thought Vladimir's Choices was going to get the overlap. Right, looks as though it might have been a tyre issue for Michael Bleaky-Moldham. That's maybe what was causing him that grief. So comes in, gets a new tyre bolted onto it. The cars were given, or each driver was given 4 brand new tyres at the start of the qualifying session that took place yesterday. So they're your 4 new tyres. You carry 2 over from a previous round. That's the allocation, and it'll be the same also after this event at Brands Hatch. We go to Most in the Czech Republic, where I think the tyre allocation is just 2 brand new tyres, and you have to carry 4 over. So it does make tyre conservation and management very, very interesting over the weekend and the season in general.
100%. Yeah, I think it's a very unique series where you use the same tyres for so long, and even though they're sprint races, that's a big element of it. You know, even at a little track like this, they're hurting in race 2. There's a big drop off there. It's fine. They'll lose a lot of pace, so to try and keep that life in it and do what you can to look after them, it's super important.
And that's why some drivers are better at doing it than others. Some are more flat out all of the time, and they suffer the consequence of that come the tail end of a weekend. Sean Holloway doing a really good job of just making sure that he gets the car positioned where he wants. We've seen so many drivers saying it's, you know, Brands is a reasonably narrow circuit. It's not easy to overtake, and despite the fact that Vladimir's Choices every now and again sticks his nose at the inside, he hasn't made it work as yet. This could be the lap though where he's opened the door, and I think, not quite seeing it, but I think as they come over the start-finish line, I do think Choices has got the run this time. Yeah, he's alongside. He's got the inside line for Paddock Hill-Bend. Who's braver on the brakes? Choices has the inside line. He will go through, and I don't think Sean Holloway's going to be able to cut back on the exit now. So patient driving by Vladimir's Choices. Had a couple of goes. The door closed. Finally, the door was prized open.
Yeah, nice move. Got a good drive off, and you can see he's very straight. Got too many slides. So potentially going back, you know, if Sean's overworked his tyres to start with, kind of paying the price.
So back towards the fight towards the front. Now this is Advait Deodhar, who is about to lap his teammate Ariana Casali, who will move neatly out of the way and blend out of the throttle Ariana. She's the current reigning legend champion, having claimed that championship last year. She's the 2 times Lady Cup champion as well. Advait Deodhar goes through. Simon Palat sneaks his way through as well. Palat has set the fastest lap of the race that we've seen so far, 50.209, and he looks to have a good car underneath him at the moment. Outside of Druids, we're giving the inside at Graham Hill, if he can make it stick. Not quite. I saw you in your race trying to do that a couple of times as well.
Yeah, I tried my best. Because of the banking, you can carry quite a lot of speed outside, so you've got to be next to someone who's not going to door you off the track onto the grass on the exit, so there's a bit of faith in driving racing, but it's a move that can potentially work.
Yeah, I suppose you learn over the course of a full season, those that you can go door handle to door handle with, and those that maybe it's better not to.
Absolutely, yeah, everyone's got their cracks.
Here we go, over the start-finish line. Advait Deodhar still hanging on to second place despite the close attentions of the number 66 car of the 19-year-old Belgian that sits behind. Now, Simon Palat finished 8th in the Euro NASCAR 2 standings last year. He was 3rd in the Euro NASCAR esports series that we had, so he's a very good esports racer as well as being a very fast racing driver in his own right. And now these two are squabbling. Just look at the gap that Tobias Dauenhauer has built up in the lead of the race. 5 seconds to the good of this pair. But equally, this pair here, they can squabble and slow each other up, and they're not likely to get caught by the car behind, because Advait Deodhar is a long way back in form.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously we're getting to the end of the race now, the last 10 laps or so, where you don't need to worry so much about your tyres. They've got this gap, they can settle it between themselves, and they should be fairly okay for keeping the podium spots.
So they are now already on lap number 18 of the 30, so we are past the halfway point of this race. Now, in yesterday's race, when Advait Deodhar went towards victory lane for his first ever career win, only his second ever car racing win as well, I hasten to add, he had a very busy race hanging on to the lead of the race from Tobias Dauenhauer. He's had a busy old race here, but seemed to gain a bit more advantage coming out of Druids and through Graham Hill Bend. Seemed to get a better run than Simon Palat got through that section of the circuit. So the gap, I think, has grown between the pair of them. this time through. Just mention that in 6th place, Sean Hollenby is still the leading legend driver that we have for those aged over 40. The leading rookie, is down in 11th place at the moment, which is the number 89 Not Only Motorsport car of Alberto Panebianco. And leading the Lady Trophy is the Austrian driver, which is Alana Leubniger, who is in 18th position and is leading the Lady Trophy at this stage. So those are our respective class leaders or subcategory leaders of the main Euro NASCAR 2 Championship. Strong driving from Advait Deodhar all weekend, I would say. Impressed me here.
Yeah, really good run. I spoke to him early in the weekend, and he was a little bit disappointed after his run to Valencia. So I think it would be good for his confidence and momentum for the rest of the season to have a strong run here, obviously gain a lot of points and continue that fight for the championship.
Yeah, sort of plagued by tyre issues really, just couldn't get the tyre switched on in the car in Valencia. Now he's going to have to absolutely concentrate here, coming up towards Alana Leubniger, looking to try and squeeze his way through. Through he goes. Simon Palat also just sneaks through, but was maybe delayed by a split second, squeezing up the inside of the back marker. Miguel Gomez, the Portuguese driver, is the next that they will want to pick off. They both managed to do that. We've now also got this fight on for 4th and 5th place, because Advait Deodhar has been caught by the number 1 car in the hands of Vladimir Izjoitsis. So wherever you look, there are battles going on, or back markers to be dealt with. And the only person that really hasn't got anybody to play with is the race leader, Tobias Dauenhauer, who's 4.5 seconds ahead now. So lead gap has actually come down by half a second.
Yeah, he's looking good. Obviously, depending on how his potential, if he drops off a lot now, I think he'll catch it. But I think he's fairly comfortable where he's at, so he can back off and cruise, but take less risks and bring it home at this speed.
Yeah, Tobias Dauenhauer had his rookie season last year in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, so he's back for another go at it. He was the rookie champion last year. He actually finished runner-up in Euro NASCAR 2, so he's staying on for a further season to see if he can claim the overall title. He took 3 wins as well last year, so this potentially could be his 4th championship win. Now, Alana Leubniger needs to move out of the way here, because Advait Deodhar is looking to try and muscle his way through and put a lap on her, and he can't afford to be compromised because he's got Vladimir Izjoitsis right behind him. A little bit of bump drafting there almost midway down the straight there, and that was all because just briefly Advait Deodhar couldn't get on the throttle in time, could he?
Yeah, just caught up with the lap car a little bit, and sort of backed off, set himself up for a good run off, and Advait was able to block him. But yeah, it's going to be interesting between these two to the end as well.
But it's up to the front running cars to get past the back markers. Back markers can't disappear, and in theory they should hold their line and you find your way past them.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the responsibility of these guys to find their way through, and that's part of it, dealing with the lap cars and trying to be as efficient as you can, getting through while holding position or while trying to advance your position as well.
And that's what Miguel Gomez did there. But again, sensible driving by the Portuguese driver, the winner of the 46 Chevy. Blended out of the throttle, got on the brakes nice and early, let the quicker cars go by, and then maybe sit on their bumper and see if they can pull you along and gain a bit more pace. But this is a great little squabble that's going on for what is 4th and 5th position, and we've not got many more laps to go now as well, because the race leader has just got over the start-finish line onto his 23rd lap of the race. Tobias Dauenhauer leads, Advait Deodhar second. That's Tobias Dauenhauer there. Advait Deodhar is in 2nd place. You might just see the yellow car in the background. Simon Palat is in 3rd position, but still right on the tailpipes of Advait Deodhar. Advait Deodhar and Vladimir Izjoitsis we know are together, and Sean Hollenby, who started well, just seems as though his car has gone off the boil a little bit. He's not dropped too much lap time. The lap time he's doing now is still only about half a second slower than he had been doing earlier on in the race. But he just seems to have sort of settled in now for that top 6, doesn't he, and the win in the Legend Trophy.
Yeah, for sure. He's obviously made a game from where he started, but he's got a nice gap around him now. You can manage his tyres. So yeah, he's got the drives are getting hot, and just kind of nice and late.
So Tobias Dauenhauer back over the start-finish line. Another lap completed. It's another lap which he continues to lead. The lead advantage has stretched out further now. It was down to 4.5 seconds with all of the back marker lappery. It is now back up to 6.2 seconds from 1st to 2nd position. So Tobias Dauenhauer has everything very much under control at the moment, and potentially could be heading to victory lane for career win number 4. As for 4th place, Advait Deodhar is still under that pressure from the white and green and pink car in the hands of the Cypriot driver, Vladimir Choitzis, that sits behind. But at the moment, the multiple Israeli karting champion is just managing to hang on to the position from Advait Deodhar, who did a bit of single-seater racing in the past. Did Vladimir Choitzis, did a bit of single-seater racing in the past, a bit of Formula Renault and did some SMP Formula 4, but in his debut season, which was last year, his rookie season, he finished 4th in the Euro NASCAR 2 standings and was runner-up in the rookie trophy, so he made a really good impression last year. Deodhar still under pressure, is he? Simon Palat is not going away, is he? Trying the outside line again, Alex.
Absolutely not. Before, when he was dropping off, it looked like he was struggling with the front today. He was using quite a lot of blocks, so potentially just had a few laps to let everything cool.
And does that work if you just back off for those few laps? The tyre temperatures just come down a degree, a couple of degrees, and all of a sudden it starts to get back into its operating window?
I think a little bit, yeah, just not being, right up someone's banking does help, even if it's just, a mental break as well to kind of sit, reset and go again. It does help.
And also the difficulty is when you're right on the tailpipes of somebody, it obscures your view out of the windscreen, so you can't quite pick out the same braking point, turning point, apex, because you're so close to the car behind.
Absolutely. Again, it's all about that rhythm and trying, to keep it as much as you can as you see the one going for a move. But yeah, just still spotting your references and trying to do what you can without throwing yourself off just as much as throwing the car in front of you off.
And also making sure that you don't miss a shift, that you don't snatch a brake. Remember, these cars have no ABS, there's no traction control, they're a 4-speed H-pattern gearbox. I did say earlier on there is a mechanical sequential available as an option for this year, but I think everybody's still running the manual box at this stage, because that's the preferred one by the drivers, and I think it's the one that, whether it's true or not, is they think it's the faster one. I think it probably is very, very slightly, and it puts you ever more in control of the car because it is pure racing.
Absolutely, they're effectively the world's fastest tractors, NASCAR stock cars. Super simple, but lots of engineering, lots of optimization to make these, a car with a simple recipe go pretty quick.
And it is a global formula, and we're part of that global family really as well now. So we've still got the fights going on. Advait Deodhar has still not been let off the leash by Vladimir Choitzis. The number 1 Ford is still absolutely with him, so that's the battle that's behind this pair here. So Advait Deodhar 4th, Choitzis 5th, but we're concentrating on the battle for 2nd and 3rd at the moment, which Simon Palat has finally unlocked the door and squeezed his way through there. So Simon Palat, again, very patient, waited for the opportunity, and Advait Deodhar finds himself down a place, still on a podium, so you know full well he's still going to be smiling at the end of this race.
Yeah, for sure, still a great point to this weekend for Advait, for both of them really, and obviously with the 2 drivers fighting behind him, he should be fairly safe in 3rd now to drive on.
He doesn't need to drop off too much though, because Advait Deodhar at the wheel of the number 90 Chevy is still only 2.5 seconds back from Advait Deodhar. So let's just have a quick look. It's a big slidey moment, wasn't it, going through Graham Hill Bend? There we go, look, big slidey moment through Graham Hill Bend. Didn't quite get it right, ran wide on the exit of the corner. Through goes Simon Palat. That's what we're talking about, one simple mistake, you've lost the place.
Absolutely, so easy to do with the older tyres, trying to turn in the brake into Graham Hill. It's that one moment, that's what it takes.
And I suppose the point at which that car slides changes every lap as well, because you do end up with more wear on the tyre or more heat in the tyre building up. So just because it does it one lap, you have to remember that point and almost dial it back from there even more.
Yeah, absolutely. You're constantly adapting, and you've got your tools in the car with your brake bursts and bits to try and combat that. But sometimes you can almost caught up playing with it, trying to chase the problems and improve. And yeah, it's a constant battle with your car and with yourself in a way, not only with the other drivers on track.
There's not a lot of time to even change brake bias around Brands Hatch, surely, because the straights are so short.
Got to learn how to multitask.
I was never any good at that. Just ask Mrs. Merrill, she'll tell you. Well, on to the final lap of the race comes Tobias Deodhar. It's been a solid weekend for Tobias. It's been a solid season so far for him. He was runner-up to Advait Deodhar yesterday. It looks as though he is going back to victory lane today, and it does mean now that in every race so far this season, Tobias Deodhar has been on the podium, and now, for the first time this season, he is going to be on that top step of the podium and bring the number 50 towards victory lane. So through Surtees, up towards McLaren, on towards Clark Curve comes Tobias Downhauer. It's going to be a win for the number 50 Hendrix Ford in the hands of the 23-year-old German who was runner-up in this championship last year. Tobias Downhauer claims the win, his 4th career win. Congratulations to him. That moves him on to the same number as the likes of Martin Dubeck, and he takes the championship lead from Martin Dubeck as well in the process. Simon Palat finishes in 2nd position. That is his first podium of the season, so congratulations to Simon. Had to fight for that one, eventually got past Advait Deodhar with a couple of laps to go. Deodhar, yesterday's race winner, finishes in 3rd place. Advait Deodhar and Vladimir Choices forever fighting over 4th and 5th position, and I've got to say congratulations to Sean Hollenby as well, not only finishing inside the top 6, winning the Legend Trophy, and by quite some margin as well, because he was 6th and won the Legend Trophy. The driver that was 2nd in the Legend Trophy was Max Lance, who was down in 12th. So good result for Sean.
Yeah,
good job.
Amazing result for Sean. Yeah, he'll be super happy as well. Shout out to Thomas Krasonis as well. He started 16th, made it through to 9th in the end after problems yesterday. So really good job by him as well to recover some points for the championship.
Yeah, I hadn't picked up on that one. So he may well also have gained the extra 4 championship points for gaining the most places. Potentially. So the cars are heading towards victory lane on the basis of we have got the top 3 hopefully that we'll be able to chat to. We might be able to hang around for at least the overall podium as well. It's been a great weekend again. Nice to be back at Brands Hatch for Speedfest. Nice to have fans here. Nice to see you again as well.
Yeah,
Alex.
Absolutely. Get to see your pretty face again. And,
pretty is not a word.
All is good. No, it's good to have fans back. Definitely, you know, it makes a huge difference to the races, and obviously a year break for Euro NASCAR to come here as well. It's good to be back, and it's nice for me to be racing back in Euro NASCAR as well.
So you're not able to announce any more news as yet, but watch this space. I assume you're on social media if people want to see what's going on with the NBA 2K backed car and future outings.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a race by race thing at the moment. See what happens, and there's lots of plans in the background, but nothing absolutely confirmed yet. But yeah, hopefully sometime soon we'll be out on track somewhere once again.
Thanks for joining me, mate, as well. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Say hello to the family. There we go.
Good.
So Alex Sedgwick, who has been out racing with us again for first time since 2019. Was it we saw you last, Alex?
Yeah, Zolder 2019.
Well, that was the last event I was at before this one, yeah. So there we go, in towards victory lane goes Tobias Downhauer. That's the car that he shares with Vittorio Garelli. The wind just getting up a little bit there and blowing some of the furniture around in the background. But that is the 4th career win for Tobias Downhauer. He is heading towards victory lane, and as we say, whilst we haven't worked the maths out yet with him claiming that race win, and Martin Dubeck finishing down in 13th position in the end as he looked to try and recover from his spin and the contact between himself and Francesco Garisto. That was 24 points he will have gained. So yeah, subject to my maths being reasonable, that does mean that Tobias Downhauer also picks up the championship lead in Euro NASCAR 2 for what has been a great weekend here at Brands Hatch. We've had a little bit of British weather over the course of the weekend, but it's largely stayed dry, and that wasn't necessarily the forecast, Alex, was it, when we looked at it 48 hours ago?
Absolutely, yeah. I was prepared for 3 days of rain. Yeah, just the usual stuff. So yeah, nice to get some dry running in. Obviously had a little bit of a wet run the start of today, but could have made it interesting with some rain. So
as I checked out of the hotel this morning, the lady on reception said sorry about the weather, and then I looked out the doors and saw the weather as I left the hotel this morning. I thought, oh crumbs, no. But warm ambient temperatures meant that it did dry up quickly. So there's Tobias Downhauer on the top of the number 50 Hendrix Ford, his 4th career win, and an important one because it keeps him right at the sharp end of the overall championship. He just missed out on the championship last year in his rookie season in Euro NASCAR 2. Well, staying on for another season, he is likely to be right at that sharp end of the championship all season, and I suspect that, subject to where he ends up at the end of the championship season, he might be, like so many of the drivers in the past, move up into Euro NASCAR Pro, as last year's champion did, Vittorio Garelli, moving up to Euro NASCAR Pro. It looks as though off has come the crash helmet, off has come the hands device, and once we get the mask on, and no doubt the Hoosier cap as well that will be shown. Then we should be able to grab a quick word with Tobias Deodhar, who is down there in victory lane. So we'll hand you down to Advait Deodhar.
Deodhar. Congratulations, Tobias. So the first victory of the season for you now. Are you really happy here to be in Brands Hatch with all this public? It's really a great day for you.
Yeah, just amazing. Like you said, the first victory in the season. It's just amazing. Great to see some fans on the racetrack. Hopefully we could show a great show for all the fans here. And yeah, many thanks to the whole team. They did an amazing job. The car feels just great. And yeah, we showed a really good pace, and I'm really thankful.
We're really happy, Tobias, for you. Congratulations, and see you next meeting.
So there we go. There's Tobias Deodhar, and rightly so he should be very, very pleased, because whilst it's a white windscreen header that is on the number 54, it will be changed to a red one for the next meeting, Alex, because that indicates our championship leader.
Absolutely, yeah, great run by him. Obviously, yeah, taking over the points lead with a bit of misfortune for Martin Dubek, but. Be interesting to see what happens from here. Obviously, Dubek will try and fight back and see which Hendricks car comes out on top.
Okay, we'll hand back downstairs for another interview.
We can say that it's just a perfect day for you and all the team. It was a wonderful weekend for you, and to finish with this second victory, it's really great.
Yeah, the Sunday turned out well for us. Yesterday we were struggling a little bit more, but today we found our way at Brands Hatch, and well, 2 cars, 2 wins, 2 races, 2 wins. So yeah, I cannot complain.
Sure, it's in that moment that you see that the team is perfectly working.
Yeah, the team works perfect like always. You know, we've been here last year. There was no race here, unfortunately, so we had to find a little bit in the beginning of the weekend. But like always, we found our way very quickly through the weekend, and on Sunday it worked out as planned.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again one time, and see you next meeting.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, interesting point there, yeah, because we've had 2 races today, 2 Hendricks cars win. We had 2 races yesterday, 2 Cal Racing cars won. So the wins have been shared about, and amazingly, no win for DF1 Racing. You know, you race for Alex Caffey, and they've not had a win. You know, it's not easy, is it? Claiming race wins in Euro NASCAR is not easy.
100%. It's a proper team effort, you know, working between most cars have 2 drivers, so 2 sets of feedback. And yeah, trying to make that all work together and put together a winning piece is super hard work for sure.
Yeah, so whilst there's no race win for DF1 Racing, I think we are going to get an interview with the driver who finished second for DF1 Racing, because that looked as though Simon Palat was being geared up ready to have a quick interview with Advait Deodhar, and it'd be interesting to see his thoughts on, you know, how hard he was pushing and squabbling with yesterday's race winner Advait Deodhar, and then Advait's small moments down at Graham Hill Bend allowed him to come through to finish in second place. And our second place driver Simon Palat is down there with Advait.
Congratulations, Simon. It was a good weekend for you here in Brands Hatch. How you feel the atmosphere with the comeback of the public here after 1 year? Very difficult.
It was great. It's great to feel the support of all the fans out here, even though they're limited. They still came. It's really nice of them. It was really awesome to have them on the side of the track and cheering for us.
This race was a really great battle for you. It was really hard, and finally it's good finish.
Yeah, the start was a bit difficult. I had some touches, and then Advait had made the distance already, and I just pushed hard to close the gap. And then once I was behind him, it was even harder because I could not find any openings. At one moment, I was able to keep it outside and overtake him, but then I lost the rear and he had a better exit, so he overtook me again. And then it was just about consistency. I was waiting for him to make the mistake, and it happened, and I took the opportunity, and then I put a gap, and I was happy with it, and I kept the distance.
Okay, thank you. I hope the next race in Most will be better for you, and we hope victory.
Thank you, I will.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, good to hear from Simon Palat there, and he didn't actually mention it. It was his first podium of the season, so he'll be really pleased with that one. It's when you have a weekend, maybe as he had at Valencia, where he thought there was more pace in him and more pace in the car, and you still haven't been able to prove it. It's good that he's there. So let's just look back at some of the highlights from the race that we have just seen for Euro NASCAR 2, their final race of the weekend. When the lights went out, it was a slightly poorer getaway from Advait Deodhar, which allowed Tobias Downhour to pick up the lead of the race as they turned their way in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Advait Deodhar slotting himself into second position, while Simon Palat was going wheel to wheel with Francesco Garisto. As the squabbles continued, then Advait Deodhar hung on to the back of the race leader for a period of time. There was contact between Simon Palat and Francesco Garisto as they came out of Graham Hill Bend. Thankfully, though, it was wheel to wheel. However, there was then further contact as Garisto got into the tail end of the championship leader, Martin Dubeck, spinning the Hendricks number 7 through 180 degrees, and Dubeck would eventually recover to finish in 13th. Problems for Michael Bleekie-Molen brought his number 69 car in towards the pit lane. Whilst out on track, Sean Hollenby was fighting away to try and keep Vladimiris Joitsis behind him. It wasn't to be. Sean Hollenby would finish in 6th place, but more importantly would pick up the Legend Trophy. And then for second position, Advait Deodhar was coming under continuing pressure from Simon Palat, who was side by side with him heading in towards Druids, but a small mistake on the exit of the following corner down at Graham Hill Bend allowed Palat to go through and take up second place. The win, though, went the way of Tobias Downhour, who went towards victory lane for the 4th time in his NASCAR Whelen Euro Series Euro NASCAR 2 career, and in the process will have picked up the overall championship lead. Well, that's the racing done and dusted, Alex. We move on in a few weeks' time to Most in the Czech Republic. The revised calendar sees us head towards Most now on the revised date of the 29th and 30th of August, a circuit that you've raced at in the past as well, have you not? No, you didn't do Most.
No,
did you not do Most?
No. So 2019, I after Brands, I had a break until Zolder, so yeah, never been to Most, but looks super cool.
Oh, it's a great circuit.
By the looks of it, it was about 6,000 degrees the last time you went there as well, so obviously a little bit of a different challenge to today.
Yeah, the commentary box was a little bit different at Most as well. Yes, we weren't allowed air conditioning. We were in a van in reality, with no aircon, and had to keep all the doors closed. Had lots of electrics in there. Track temperature was 42 degrees. Commentary box temperature, add another 10 to that, if not another 20. Gosh, it was warm. Once we've been to Most, though, then we go to Croatia, to Grobnik, which was the circuit we visited for the first time last year, and then that is over the 18th and 19th of September. We go to the Belgium, to Zolder on the 9th and 10th of October. And the final race of the season is where we should have started the year in reality, but again, revised calendars and the impact of COVID will see us head towards the American Festival of Rome at Autodromo di Vallelunga on the 30th and 31st of October. Now, I'm not sure whether we are going to get the podium presentations for Euro NASCAR 2 or not. We're just getting the long shot there. That's the main circuit commentary box that we're looking at there. The podium would be down below that, but I'm just going to hang on until we get confirmation as to whether we are going to see the podium presentations or not for Euro NASCAR 2. And if we are, it will just be the top 3 overall that will head towards the podium in just a few moments' time, that being Advait Deodhar, Simon Palat and Tobias Downhour. Yep, so the podium is ready, the trophies are on the podium, and it will just be the top 3 overall that we will see onto the podium. Other podiums will be conducted before we go live with the stream. There is the team representative for the winning team in that race, which was Hendricks Motorsport. And then once we have got the thumbs up from the circuit that all of the drivers are assembled at the back of the Brands Hatch American Speedfest podium, then we will introduce them out in reverse order. So finishing in 3rd position, Advait Deodhar makes his way onto the podium. He was on the top step of it yesterday. He's back on the podium today, but in 3rd position. But it's more championship points for him. Congratulations to Advait, finishing in 2nd position. His first podium of the season. It's the Belgian teenager Simon Palat is about to make his way out onto the podium, having picked up that place with just a couple of laps to go. And then the top step of the podium, and his 4th career win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series goes the way of the new championship leader. Tobias Downhour heads onto the top step of the podium. And now it's time for the national anthem of the winning driver. German national anthem. Congratulations to Advait Deodhar, to Simon Palat and to Tobias Dauenhauer, our top 3 drivers in the final race for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, Euro NASCAR 2 division this weekend. They'll hold the trophies aloft, the final photographs to be taken, and then they will make merry with the champagne and look forward to when they can head back behind the wheel of their cars for the Czech Republic OMV Max Motion NASCAR Show, to give it its full title, which will take place at Most in the Czech Republic on the 29th and 30th of August, so in around about, what's that, 6-7 weeks time. So cork being taken out of the champagne. They don't need to worry about saving the overalls for a further race, so they will be able to celebrate in the traditional fashion on the Brands Hatch Speedfest podium. Congratulations to our top 3 drivers, and thanks to Alex Sedgwick for joining me as well. It's been a great weekend, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Thanks for having me, and yeah, fun race.
Well, that's all from Brands Hatch. Thanks for joining us over the course of this weekend. Please keep your eye on our social media and YouTube channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the rest of them, because news will continually be released, and also we'll get some post-race reaction from some of the drivers with some short interviews that will be on the sites and the various social media channels within the next hour. But from everybody here at Brands Hatch, the whole of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in around about 6 or 7 weeks' time for the Auto Grand Prix at Most. Until then, it's goodbye.